BossBattleBob by Jens B.H. Larsen. Chapter 1. The Prologue. No Restriction. As with many other tropes in an oversaturated literature RPG market, this story began in darkness. Not the kind you blink away or flick off with a light switch. This was an all-swallowing void where even thoughts soon dissolved into nothing. Somehow he existed in it, suspended and weightless. There was no up, left, down or right. Ears did not register breath, and fingers could not press against that tangible body. He wasn't even sure if he had a brain. Yet the mind churned on, attempting to organize a mess of foldering fragments into something less raw. The ghost of a sigh escaped upon an awareness of release emanent from where lungs should have been. There's nothing here. Well, that was almost true. A single feeling reverberated deep inside his being. It tugged at silent whispers of remembrance and fears of inadequacy hard-coded into mankind itself. Did I not do enough? The question took form and rooted heavily in his gut, twisting and stretching until it gave birth to acceptance. Yeah, I failed again, didn't I? It wasn't a realization of any specific failure. Even if details was impossible to recall, he knew the scope of his baggage. A comprehensive list of fuck-upperies, boasting bridges burned, relationship withered, promises left to rot, and whatnot else. Some of it was without doubt his own fault, some less so. But placing blame now? Too late for that. The weight of all he couldn't quite name pressed hard either way. Or maybe, just maybe, this was all about someone else. All about you. An azure blue rectangle outlined by a whitish frame cut through the void. Not a sterile modern eye-catcher. Not a sleek sci-fi minimalism. But something classic, ancient even, in today's world. It was reminiscent of old-school interfaces he hadn't seen in years. The text would enclosed in distinct soft luminous white, slightly bluish in tint. Whoever designed it was going for maximum readability against dark backgrounds, mimicking the burn you'll get from old CRT monitors. Nostalgia hit his unformed being hard. He could almost hear the 8-bit battle theme of game long-term collectibles. This text box before him, it came from a time where every death was a lesson, and any button press skipped was a missed opportunity. Cool. What is your name? The system said. Bob. It came without hesitation, a confirmation solidified by my mere thoughts. No need to overthink it either. Yeah, I'm just Bob. Simple, functional and always there. Even when the rest of him wasn't, the text box changed. Which beginning do you choose? Warrior, rogue, mage, healer, true soul. He would have frowned if he could. 5 choices presented to him, most of them generic as fuck. To Bob, playing a roguish archetype was nearly a given. Evasion, speed and skill expression. He always leaned into that shit as if addicted. Warrior's prowess in the field of weapons had some merit, but he wasn't into brute force, blow trading and mandatory poise pumping. Pass. Mages were usually late game powerhouses, but came with flow holding dependency on resources. Juices will run dry during key moments, no doubt. At least until bulls got up and running. And healers? Yeah, that's just not gonna happen. Then there was True Soul. That one was definitely new. His phantom fingers hesitated over the choice, as if nagged by an itch at the edge of his recognition. Don't click just yet. On the surface it gave off gimmick class vibe, probably a bad pick. Like really bad. One of the most experimental designs that promised in-depth talks, but got dumpster fucked by the community upon actual release. His instinct screamed, always check the hidden stats, always read the fine print. But then there was you? The small force, always present in the back of his thought trail, edging him into new territory. Click. Beginning chosen, true soul, no gear, no coin, no skills, no restriction, a blank canvas. Congratulations on creating your character. The confirmation window was too instant. A gotcha mechanic boasting the outcome of his high-stake gamble in World Chat. Huh, really? Starting without any stuff and skills meant he was walking in naked. Gone was the safety net usually found within class-specific starter pack, brimming with tools of trade. Instead, he was set up to be a weak-ass, useless toon, slapping like wet noodles. This would turn into a self-imposed hobby of taking arrows to the knee. Okay, calm down. Bob had played similar scenarios before. Hardcore modes and no-hit challenges. The kind of brutal difficulty settings designed to weed out the impatient and unprepared. He had always respected those experiences, thrived in them even. They came with defined rules and boundaries, which meant everything could be studied, adapted to and mastered. Yet this time, it wasn't just a safe game on the line. It was him, was it not? No restrictions. The phrase rolled in his mind over and over. It could mean anything, from no limits to minimal guardrails. Was that the same as freedom? Nah. It was responsibility to oneself. Any blank canvas had to perform better, live harder, and be determined to not waste precious opportunities. His hands started to tremble with sheer electric weight of realization. He had nothing but player skill to fall back on, right? There would be no forums, no tutorial reads or wiki pages hand-holding him toward an optimized build. Maybe this could deliver what no game in recent years had truly done. A real goddamn breath of discovery. See, Bob was knee-deep in gaming culture. Always had been. But times were changing fast. Everything he had known since childhood was forcibly jammed into the crucible of progress. He found himself mindlessly adjusting to the era of streamers, build guide creators, and big money-pleasing game producers. Yet today, the seemingly impossible had happened. He was presented with something unspoiled. It lay right there at his fingertips, taunting the long-tamed childlike wonder within. All of the outside clutter gone. Just him and a whole new world waiting to be explored, down to the last potion-bearing nuke and secret-infested cranny. He was so ready just to play. He had been for a long time. Without further ado, he bellowed without lungs. Fuck yeah! Let's go! The void stretched as if cued by his emotion, swallowing everything that wasn't there. Then, with a wallop, it took him too.